A hotshot race car named Lightning McQueen gets stranded in Radiator Springs, where he finds the true meaning of friendship and family.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with
Michelle,
Andre,
Luis,
and me, Emily. We're a family-friendly podcast where we pick a new Disney movie each week. We watch it, share our thoughts, and then relate it to pop culture, fandoms, and anything else that pops into our heads. Enjoy!
hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 34.
you can drink some.
I don't even know why my hand's on your drink right now.
We're starting this podcast, and I'm eating taco truck, carne asada burrito, and orange mandarin jarrito. And I look at Emily, and her hand is just resting on my glass. I was like, you can have it.
Oh.
34 episodes in, we're getting real comfortable with each other, just taking swigs out of each other's drinks and stuff.
Well, we do that anyway, but, you know.
Mandarin.
Mandarin jarrito.
This week, we are talking about the Pixar film Cars.
Vives una calle.
Yo manejo toda la noche.
Hola. You guys know what that is. It's fine. The listeners know what it means.
Oh, okay.
You should know. You've been on the Cars ride.
I have.
Hola.
Let's get it out of the way. When you're on the Cars ride, you know how, like, every ride you go on, they're like, please keep your hands, heart, feet, and legs. I said Am's fart. Hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train at all times. You know, do that. So on the Cars
Manos,
ride,
brazos, pies y piernas.
dentro de las something. So they do that on the Cars ride, but it's the little... it's Ramon, and he's like, hola, and then he says everything. It's funny.
¿Cómo estás,
Sounds
mi
like
amigos?
Luis.
Sounds
Sounds
like
like
Luis.
Cheech Marin.
What?
That's who Ramon
That's
is played
Cheech?
by. Yeah, it's Cheech.
I knew that.
Not quite sure I sound like that.
You could if you wanted to.
Oi, I don't think I sound like that. I am Scottish.
No.
No,
Whatever.
you're not Fitz.
Scottish Louis.
Oi,
Oh, was
I
that
agree
British?
with that
That
statement.
wasn't Scottish either.
I agree with it.
Let's talk about Cars.
One time I was walking through Loch Ness, and I happened to say
Hey,
a very tall giraffe
you're
in
cut
the middle
off.
of the
You're
lake.
cut off on the Scottish accent until we do Brave.
Okay.
Luis, we'll start with you then. What is your first impression of Cars?
I remember growing up when this movie came out, there was a hype behind it. Like, everybody was talking, oh, Cars this, Cars that. And I was like, oh, Cars. I didn't want to watch it. And then,
Cars.
mostly because
Cars.
I have a very peculiar aversion to people and popularity and things like that. I'm not talking about popular
Like, if people like things,
popular
yeah,
stuff.
I tend to be like, I don't know.
You're one of those
Like, if I was to eat
naysayers.
pineapple-flavored cotton candy, Luis would be like, no.
Well, first off, that's disgusting.
No,
It's
it's
pineapple cotton candy.
Exactly.
Candy.
Candy.
But anyways, I kind of have an aversion to, like, pretty much fads.
Sure.
You know, and I was like, man, this is another one of those things you call a fad.
Yeah.
And I wasn't about it. But
Cars.
then, you know, I watched it. I believe in... I can't remember if I watched
El
it for the
Colegio.
first time either with Ems while we were dating or married, or before that in college. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought the main character, which we will get to, ends up being a very good character.
All right.
I just don't want to give too much info because
In the
we're going to
end.
talk about him. So, anyways.
We will.
That's it.
My first impression is, I think as a kid, I watched it, but all I cared about was Mater. I was like, Mater's funny. Mater. But, like, because you know how, like, when you're a kid, you focus on one character or one part of a movie, and you always remember that. So that was me with Mater. But I never really liked the Cars movie that much. Like, it wasn't something I was into until Disneyland California Adventure opened a Cars Land. And then I was like, whoa.
Now you're hooked.
And I had like a whole new appreciation for it. And then I went back and watched them and was like, wow, like this is a good movie, you know? And also I think it's weird because now Cars has more of a special place in my heart because a lot of the children with autism that I work at at work love cars. So you know how sometimes when you see something through a child's eyes, you like appreciate it more. And I'm like, oh, Cars is cool. Like they think it's so cool, and now I like it, which is different. But this viewing was probably the best viewing. I haven't seen the original Cars movie in years. So it was good. I wasn't excited to watch it, but I liked it. Emily.
It was good. My first impression, as first impression should be, good.
Hey, I gave a good first impression.
No, Luis's was longer than yours, so, you know.
Yeah, he started going into character development
It was
already.
good, guys.
Y'all did some long one.
He said 5.
I didn't love this movie when it first came out, and I didn't love it upon this viewing either. And
What? You didn't?
No, I don't.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it's a fine movie, but
It's a fine movie.
but I don't care about any of the subject matter of this movie. I
Yeah.
don't
'Cause
care
it's a
about
NASCAR movie?
I don't care about
Country
Route
music?
66. I don't care about country music, and I don't care about cars in general. And this movie has all of
the
that
things.
stuff
you would care about
wrapped
it if
up
there
in
was
like a
Teslas in
pretty
it.
little bow. I liked Cars 3 because it had like the futuristic cars.
Yeah, he did like
And
that one.
I perked up during this movie when the the stupid like Fast and Furious cars showed up on the road and
Oh, my
derailed
God.
the Mack truck or whatever. But yeah.
Okay. He said,
There you go. That's a true first impression.
First
right there.
impression.
all right.
Middle thumb.
So, la characters. I don't know if we should start with Mr. McQueenie Queen or Owen Wilson.
No, this is what we need to start with. I was reading an article about Cars just a second ago, and it was written on June 9th of 2018. So what? How many days ago?
Like 3 days
2
ago.
days ago.
Right? 2 days ago. And this is what the first line says.
Oh, God.
Pixar's Cars was released on this day 12 years ago.
Oh,
What?
we nailed it.
Boom!
I had no idea.
You know, this seems to be a
Boom!
recurring theme for us when we do movies when the events are coming out and we didn't even know.
Yep. See, there you go. So you're welcome.
Killing it.
Nice.
That was just a fun fact, but
Cars anniversary.
I thought that was a good place to
12
start.
years? Dang, I'm old.
It is an Oscar-winning movie, so
There you go.
Did it win? I think I see that it was nominated for 2 Oscars.
I'm just reading what it says here.
You
The
can't,
Oscar-winning
trust
animation studio.
Nobody.
I lied. It's saying that it's an Oscar-winning animation studio, so I would be lying to you.
Yes.
Sorry.
They tricked you.
I don't know
with
how to
that
read.
Pixar
wording,
has made
man.
Oscar
Boom.
movies.
Okay, let's see.
Tricky.
Luis, who did you hate the most in this movie?
Oh my god. That's where we're gonna start.
Which character annoyed Luis the
Chicken
most?
Chipper, whatever his name was.
Chick
Chick
Hicks?
Hicks.
Chick Hicks.
That
Chick
guy.
Hicks, the green car.
Yeah, I didn't like them.
Okay, so here's what.
Hold on. What did he say?
I said Chicken Chipper.
Kachika. Kachika.
Kachika, here
I-
comes the thunder.
I liked
Kachika.
Chick
Chick Hicks.
Chick Hicks. I like
Chicken Chipper.
just because of how contrary and derivative he is. He's just like, you know what? I'm gonna take your catchphrase, make it worse, and make more money than you. Kachika.
And I'm gonna have a mustache.
Oh, yeah.
The girl mustache. Okay,
Girl
go ahead,
mustache.
Louis. Why did you hate Chick Hicks so much?
He was a big meanie.
Oh,
simple.
big me.
Like, how could you do that to the legend?
Right.
Like, that's
Mr.
just
the King.
cold.
Mr. the King.
His birth certificate says Mr. as his first name and the as his middle name and
And
King
King.
as his last
His name's
name.
Mr. the King.
Mr. the
Yeah.
King.
Mr. the King.
Mr.
But
the
anyways,
King is the realist.
That's why I don't like Chicken Chipper, because he was completely out of
Chick
line.
Hicks.
You know, tossing the king out of the race. I
Right.
didn't like that one bit. You
Yeah.
got to respect your elders, and you got to also respect history. So
Yeah, and play fair. Come on, we're all
there
yeah.
you go. Play fair
we're all
too. I
just here to
forgot
have
about that.
fun. Come on, Chick
Here's
Hicks.
where here's where my work comes into play. Cars, toys. That's like a whole nother conversation. It's such a huge market. It's insane. Like Disney has to make so much money off of selling Cars merchandise.
Here's a secret.
Because-
They do that with every property that they have.
No, this is on another level. I'm gonna explain this to you because
I'm gonna explain this to you.
there are 3 Cars movies. In each movie, there's got to be at least 100 different cars. Like, I'm just throwing out a number. Probably 100 different cars.
Sure.
They sell different versions of them from each movie. I know a kid that I work with who has like 6 different versions of the Mack truck And at least one of them's got to be like $100 because it fits like 20 different little tiny cars inside it. And kids get real mad at work when they can only find Chick Hicks and Lightning McQueen, but they can't find Chick Hicks, Mr. the King, and Lightning McQueen. And then they run all over finding Mr. the King. Like, you have to have all 3 cars, right? Because they're called the Big 3. Mm-hmm. So I can only imagine how much I'm going to keep my child away from liking this movie, because then they're going to want to buy every single car. Like, if you think about Cars 3 movie, I would want Miss Fritter, and then I would want all the other cars that were in that scene.
Cruz Ramirez.
Yeah, I would want Cruz, too. Like, you can't just have one car. You got to have all the cars. Then you got to act out the Cars movie. They're making money off that.
I found some facts to back up your statement. Cars is brings in more than $2 billion in global retail sales annually.
Yep.
It's the company's biggest franchise for
But if you think about people who collect...
That includes toys and clothes and DVDs.
As a kid, I was very, very,
more
very...
than Frozovier?
Oh, yeah.
It's grossed $8 billion in total. Yes.
But I just think that there's a bigger market for it. Like, you could just... You know how many versions of Lightning McQueen there are?
That's true. I can see that.
At least 1 million. So I was very...
At least 1 million.
I was very into Hot Wheels as a kid. Like, I did not like Barbies. If my dad took me to the store, we were buying Hot Wheels. So I think about even those people who grew up on Hot Wheels, and then they were like, I'm going to collect all of these cars, too. They're making money off it.
Make it
good.
Bang. Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm okay with it.
I don't know. I thought you were unhappy with it.
Oh, the point is you can't have Chick Hicks without Mr. the King and Lightning McQueen.
Oh.
So yeah, that was the point. And then I went into money moves. I don't know. I got distracted with the money moves. Mr. the King is really nice though. He's the face of Dynaco. He's just trying to give.
Getting up there.
He's trying to give little early jerky Lightning McQueen some sound advice.
Early jerky.
He's an early jerky Lightning McQueen. That's what he is. Luis will agree with me.
Love waking up in the morning and grabbing me some jerky.
Lightning McQueen is a little jerk.
He's the worst.
Yeah,
he's the worst.
He's very arrogant and annoying.
I literally
on another level.
No
though.
wonder he had no pit crew. He was awful. And I was just like that little thing.
I don't need nobody.
What was that little guy with his little arms?
Little forklift dude.
His little forklift pit crew.
I quit.
Quit.
He was like, goodbye.
I was right there with him. I would have left too. Wasn't he calling him Chuck? And he's like, my name's not Chuck.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think
And Lightning McQueen's always envisioning himself with those the little girl cars that are his biggest fans.
They went after Chick Hicks. Don't worry.
Oh, right.
Yeah, in the end, thank goodness. But I don't know how that's a thank goodness. Chick Hicks isn't any better.
Kachiga. Seriously. No, Lightning McQueen was the worst. Completely. And his worstness messed everyone up.
Right.
Like, I guess he's racing dirty. He's like not helping Max stay up. He's making Max sleep all night or stay up all night so that he can get to California first. It's his fault.
Sleep.
It's his fault that he gets out of Max's back truck. His back
It's
door.
so sad when Mac is like, look at all those sleeping trucks.
Seriously,
I feel you, dude.
It's his fault. Then he goes and he makes it to Radiator Springs and he messes up the whole town. Then he has to stay.
The whole town.
Then he doesn't do it right, so has to stay even longer. It's his fault that everything bad happens to
Where
him.
are Lightning McQueen's parents? Do cars have parents?
He doesn't have any friends.
Do cars have parents?
Do they have parents? Because nobody raised him right.
You know, now
This
that
is
you
a
say
question.
that,
I don't know if they do.
do cars have parents?
None of the cars in this movie.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
do.
know. You don't know that.
It's those robot hands on the assembly line in Detroit.
Ah.
Detroit.
Why
Yeah.
Detroit?
They
Motor
look like
City.
the that arm that Iron Man uses to build the first Iron Man suit in Iron Man 1. Anyway,
Ka-chow.
Kachiga.
No.
yeah,
Ka-chow.
Lightning. He's a jerk. He's not quite like Cusco level mean, but he's up there.
I think the meanest thing he does is his sponsors. He's real mean to his sponsors. Rusties. They're just some good old cars just trying to get unrusty, and they're his fans, and he's just like, dude. He doesn't want them to touch him.
Ka-chow.
He's all
Can't even do his catchphrase right. Come on, dog.
A lot of luck, maybe you can look like me. It's so sad.
Here's the deal. You want to know why Lightning McQueen's so annoying?
Why?
Owen Wilson.
What?
Shakira.
My hips don't lie.
What are you
Was that
talking
pretty good?
about? This is the best performance of my life.
Actually,
So
that's probably
bad.
the
I
only
hate
thing
him.
I like Owen Wilson.
God, he's
in.
awful. Well, now that I have Shakira, Andre, Owen Wilson in my head, the whole time I'm watching it, I'm just thinking about Shakira, and I'm like, oh, you
That's fine. I'd rather be thinking about Shakira.
Oh, wow.
And Andre did that multiple times while we were watching this. FYI,
He doesn't
He was
sound that.
he was
Owen
sitting-
Wilson-y in this movie.
he was
though.
sitting next to me, and I was just here. Oh, wow, look, red paint.
I won the race. Wow.
White wall tires.
Wow. Ramon has a new paint job. Wow.
Be
Yeah,
quiet.
I'm done.
Radiator Springs.
Ornament Valley.
You guys are mean.
It's catching on. I like
You know
it.
what? Owen Wilson as Lightning McQueen, I like. I'll just say
I
it.
like.
I like.
He's a good Lightning McQueen voice.
You want to talk about who I like?
Who you like?
Mater?
Beat Spot.
Beat spot.
What's it?
Beat stop.
Pit stop.
Beat stop.
I feel like I always said Pete Spot.
Guido.
Guido. Oh my gosh. Luigi and Guido. Can we just
Luigi
get
and
to the
Guido.
best characters, please?
Yes.
Because Lightning
Pete
McQueen
Stop.
isn't the best. I appreciate Luigi, but Guido is my favorite.
Guido is the best. He
Tiny
just, he
little
just,
Italian.
you know what? He just wants to pit stop a car.
A Ferrari.
A Ferrari. I can't even talk. He just wants to pit stop a car. And Lightning McQueen says no.
You're
No,
a
no,
race
no, no.
car?
I love
A
when they're
real
like
race car?
when Lightning McQueen's like, it's only one lap. The race. And he's the race and he's just sitting there like, yeah. Come on.
You guys.
They're the best. That's my favorite ride in Cars Land too.
Luigi's Flying Tires. No, not the Flying Tires. The
Luigi's Rock.
Rollickin'
Roadsters.
That's it.
They're from Carpoli.
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 La 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 la. Hey.
I'm pretty sure that's the pizza making song.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pizza.
Close enough.
I like the mambo.
Eh, mambo.
Oh, the Mambo song.
Mambo Italiano. Mambo.
Yeah, I would have to say Guido is my favorite. But as a kid, I was all about Larry the Cable Guy as Mater.
Yeah, Mater is my favorite because he gets all the funniest lines.
He is silly.
I like me some Mater.
But you know it's funny because
Toe Mater without the toe.
Toe Mater.
some of the other one of the really good characters doesn't have any lines.
The fire
Yeah, the
truck.
fire
Red.
truck.
He's
Red
hilarious.
is hilarious.
The firefighter that waters plants
Yeah,
and knocks over stacks of tires.
and cries.
He's very emotional.
He cried because Lightning McQueen ruined his flowers, okay? It's not his fault. Lightning McQueen's being a jerk.
Yeah. Red's sensitive.
Just
Yeah,
like
he is.
Andre. That's why Andre.
It's
Me
funny
and
to me
Red.
that, like, out of the
Me and
whole...
Red.
Both crying.
This town of cars, right? So we have Red,
Sally.
Sally, thank
Old
you.
lady.
I don't know the old lady one.
Oh, the old Oldsmobile lady.
Yeah.
I don't remember her name either.
I don't even think
She
she's
was
an
the wife.
Oldsmobile.
She was
just
the
like
wife to Stanley.
She's
Right.
like a Model T or something.
Lizzie.
Lizzie.
Yes.
And then they got Flo, Ramon,
Yay.
Sarge.
Sarge,
Fillmore.
hilarious, Fillmore. Like, I want to meet all of these.
Doc.
Yeah, Doc.
Sheriff.
The sheriff.
I want to meet all of these cars
Tractors.
in the park.
Track.
The
Bessie.
tractors. Bessie. Shout out to Bessie one time. But I want to
Frank.
meet... Oh, my God. Who the heck is Frank?
The bull
the bull.
tractor? The
Oh,
bulldozer.
right, yes.
But I want to meet some of those other cars in the park.
Oh, at California Adventure.
Yeah, like Flo. I want to see Flo.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Not just at the cafe.
Is she at the cafe?
Yeah. No. Well, she's not.
I don't think I've ever seen her.
It's her cafe.
It's her cafe.
Well, just because it's her cafe doesn't mean she needs to be there.
It's her cafe.
She has many locations.
One of her satellite
She's running
campuses.
around, yeah.
Who's your favorite car? You said Mater.
I like Mater. Because he's funny. He delivers all the funny lines. I'm
Luis-
happier than a
Luis,
trailer in a tornado or something like that.
Trailer in a tornado.
Tornado in a trailer park.
Yeah, that's right.
Luis, who's your favorite car from the town?
Oh, from the town? Damn.
In general.
Well, who's your favorite car then?
Mr. the King.
Mr. the King.
Mr. the King is your favorite?
Yeah. He's Battle Axe muscle car.
That's what BA stands for, everyone.
Yes,
Battle Axe.
Battle Axe.
At least
Battle
today.
Axe muscle car.
Yeah, he's been through everything, and he is. I don't know. Like I said, I respect the history of the whole quote unquote sport in the universe.
Right.
And he is a pretty cool muscle car. I think he's a Plymouth Cuda, if I am, or
He
maybe
is
a
a pretty
Super
cool muscle
Cuda,
car.
or some kind of Plymouth car. I just don't know the exact model.
Here's the problem with this movie, I think, for most of us, is that for us, it's not even anything to do with the movie. It's our preferences on things,
Right.
like that make the movie not hit home as much. I probably knew the most out of everyone
Yeah,
about
you
the
were
sport.
telling me references. I was
Right.
like, what? Yeah, you
That
need to
Dale
talk
Earnhardt
about that.
Jr..
That's all you, girl.
Yeah, well, it's not like I'm proud of it, okay? Growing up, we watched a lot of NASCAR in my household, and so I found it very amusing that most of the references used in this movie were very accurate to the sport of NASCAR
Right.
racing.
I would only expect that from Pixar.
Right,
Yeah.
definitely. So, like, the King was the King Richard Petty in real life, and it was Mrs. the King was voiced by his wife in
yes.
real life. So
I read
those
that.
kinds of things are really funny. And like, was it like Bob Cutlass? And I think his name
Yeah.
is really like Bob like Costas or
Costas.
something. Like they did that on so many different things. And at the end of the movie, they were talking about a car named Junior, and it was Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's like a big racer. So it was funny because I just saw the parallels, but I was looking at everyone else, and they were just like, like it just wasn't like their cup of tea because of the sport itself. Like,
I would never know that.
no, if this was a soccer movie, I'm sure Luis would have been like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Right.
But because it was, racing, it was just not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this right now, and we're like, the listeners are probably going to cringe, but Luis and I watched the Planes movies and the Planes Fire and Rescue movies in theaters, and we actually loved them so much we own Planes Fire and Rescue. And I think it's just because we like the idea of like what they do much better than driving around in a circle for 8 hours.
Yeah.
So
that makes a lot of sense. I read that it was John Lasseter who's like super in love with cars and racing and
well, that would make sense
put
then.
in all the.
But it's cool
all the
though because I
references and
think
stuff.
I wonder how like critics, which I know Andre's going to like he has some what do you call that, reviews to share, but I wonder how like non-racing fans took reception to or received this movie, and if that's why like the Cars 2 movie took like a completely different racing turn with like foreign racers and more on course racing versus like on a track.
And I was super excited for Cars 2 because of the foreign aspect, and then we all know it was kind of a flop. And I almost feel like Cars 3, the movie, is better than Cars 1, which is weird because usually as I progress, I tend to like them less. But if I think about even who my favorite character was as a kid, he was Mater, who's not a race car and really doesn't have anything to do with the plot line necessarily. He's just there for like comical effect.
Well, and it's funny
So I
because
just wasn't attached to the racing aspect.
well, a lot of times I think when Disney and Pixar does, which I don't want to say that all follow-up movies are bad because they're obviously not. Toy Story 2, 3, they're all good or whatever. But
Right.
when we watch, I feel like I'm talking like almost now. The movies that base themselves on the secondary characters, to me, they're not as good. Like we watched The Emperor's New Groove, then we watched Kronk's New Groove, and they took the funny element and tried to make their own movie out of it, and that's what they did here with Mater, and it wasn't as good. So I wonder if that's
For
just
Cars 2.
yeah.
So
So
I
I
was
wonder,
talking about
which
Cars
I still
2
have
grew
never seen.
so bad.
well,
You've never seen Cars 2?
I have not.
Well, you might have the opportunity. I don't know.
I think it may be on Netflixy,
It might be. I'm not sure.
or maybe Cars 3. I don't know.
you know what is on Netflixy?
Coco.
Yes, but Cars related.
Cars.
Cars Tunes.
Cars.
Oh,
too.
yeah, we watched the Cars tunes.
Mater's
Mater in the Ghost Light.
Mater's tunes are hilarious.
Yes,
So we went and we found all of the like little shorts of Mater in all of these different areas, and he's like Mater the Greater. He's like Evil Knievel, and then
I
they
love
did
it.
they did all these different things, and that was actually really interesting to me and Luis because we are avid pin collectors when we go to the Disney parks, and they had a pin for each one of those shorts, and so we have all of the pins from each of the shorts. We were really excited about it. More about the pins than about Mater, but it was funny.
Right. Well, Mater's cool too.
Mater's cool.
But the pins are fun. I read that the reason that racing wasn't like the complete story of this movie and that it goes to like Route 66 is that John Lasseter's wife took him and their kids on like a road trip through like Route 66 and stuff like that. And she's like, if you're going to make this movie, you have to make it for people that don't love racing, because he was like so into it that it's what he was going to focus his entire movie on.
Well, she's super smart then. Like,
yes.
Good for her, because it added a very huge element to this movie that I did not remember. I know I watched this movie originally when it came out, and I watched it at the series drive-in. I know we feel like we talk about that all the time, but we watched it at the series drive-in, and I remember not liking it. I was not paying attention, and I'm not a non-pay attention. Like, I always pay attention to movies, and I just did not care about it. And I didn't remember the fact that he ended up in this like little hick town, or this town that was off the map. And when I rewatched it a couple years ago, what Louis was talking about, it was very interesting to add that whole dynamic in and kind of take it away from the racing aspect.
Yeah. To help
I
him
enjoyed it.
grow as a person and make it a smaller story, and yeah, it was good.
It just bothered me how long it took him to not be a meathead.
This movie is long. It's like an hour and 55
It's too long.
minutes. I think it's
In my
still
opinion.
the longest Pixar movie.
It is now, yep.
Yeah.
You know what? I thought it was good.
You didn't feel the
I'm
length?
still at hour 30, gal.
No.
Well, yes.
I'm a good 56 minutes, man.
Whoa, whoa, dang.
Succinct.
I'm a good
Movies.
6-hour extended version kind of guy.
I can be that for a lot of movies, but this one was not the one.
6 hours.
This one was not the one.
extended version.
For the extended version.
Luigi only followed the Ferraris.
Luigi only follow Ferraris.
That's my favorite quote.
Michael Giacchino. He
Oh,
he
my
did not. He did not do the music for this movie.
You know who did, though?
Randy
Newman.
His
Randy?
fourth or fifth Pixar
Newman.
movie that he
Let's
did.
Well,
talk
he said
about
he
the
did
music.
The Toy Stories, the Monsters Inc., and the Cars, right? And Bug's Life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So by now, had he done Toy Story 2? Had that already come out?
Yeah. Toy
Yeah.
Story 2 came out earlier.
Let's talk about the music a little bit, because we talked about this when we watched this movie last night together. I think that the music that made for the movie, the score,
Yes.
very nice. Very,
Yeah.
it's reminiscent of where they're at,
Yeah.
and especially the fact that they use it in the Cars ride makes it
That's-
very
yeah.
nostalgic for those of us who have been on the ride and love the ride.
Get it, Randy. Go, Randy. Go, Randy. Get it, Randy.
That's like the only part I like, though.
But
It's almost just that scene with the music.
yes, and then we talked about all the other songs in the movie.
Emily was like, first 5 minutes, is that Sheryl Crow?
I
And
did,
it's like, yeah.
and it
Sheryl
made
Crow?
me dislike it even more.
Real Gone
Sheryl
by
Crow.
Sheryl Crow.
When you find yourself. Who's that one?
Oh.
Is that Roscoe Flats? I don't know.
No, I know who it is, and I can't think of his name.
James Taylor.
Was it Brad
No.
Paisley?
Yeah, Brad Paisley.
Okay. Yep.
And,
Find
and
Yourself by
Rascal
Brad
Flats
Paisley.
is The Life is a Highway.
Yes.
But, okay, and this is where I almost feel as though I can't comment on the music because...
Tell them the story, Michelle. You told us the story.
What story?
Oh, I thought you were going to tell the story about the music.
Which one?
The CD?
Huh? Oh, gosh. That's a whole nother story.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
It's weird because I grew up as a child. I grew up on country music, and I would wear cowgirl outfits and sing Leanne Rhymes and yada, yada, yada.
It was very cute.
It was very cute.
Was it?
I wasn't there.
I don't know. It was cute. And then I think middle school hit, and I was like, no, I don't like country. Like, country was not for me anymore. And this whole movie's country music. So then it just kind of... So I almost feel like I can't talk about it just because I don't really like country music. But Randy Newman did a wonderful job with the score. That is beautiful, lovely, very nostalgic when you ride the ride. The story about the CD. Okay, so at my job, I don't know why we don't have an MP3 player or something like that, but we just have a very old CD player. And there's one CD in it that one of our coworkers burned a bunch of basically kids and Disney songs. So... Track 1 is a Trolls song, which everybody skips for some reason because I think it starts out talking, so then the kids get disinterested. Number 2 is Shakira Owen Wilson.
Wow.
that
yeah.
song.
Whoa.
And then, yeah, which is so funny because, yeah, that song.
Try everything. Try everything. Wow.
Just try it. Yeah, so song number 2 is that.
FYI, that's from Zootopia, if you guys couldn't tell.
And song number 3 is Life is a Highway. So if you think about a CD, especially with children, what happens? You play like the first 2 or 3 songs, right? So Zootopia song comes on and I never get tired of it. And then it goes to Life is a Highway and I just don't want to hear it multiple times a day. And I always have to hear it multiple times a day. And so therefore I can't listen to Life is a Highway, but I can do the Spanish version.
Boom.
Much
Which
better.
you heard at the top of the podcast. I was gonna say that you can speak about country music. I haven't listened to any of it at all ever, so you at least have an opinion on what.
My
Good
opinion
or bad
is
country
the
music is.
old country that I grew up on. I liked growing up a lot, but it was older country.
Well,
and then these poppy country artists kind of came along, and I just wasn't about it.
Well, even though I wouldn't consider the music in this movie to be country, I would consider it like more of a country style, but it's because they're
Yeah.
sung by country singers. But the songs
Folk
themselves,
music more, maybe?
No.
I don't know. It's just a different. It's a different
It
style.
just wasn't for me.
but,
And
yeah.
if Dixie Chicks came on, I'd be like, all right.
Oh, you want some Shania Twain?
Yeah, Shania Twain came on
Shania
there.
Twain.
We'd be like, oh,
Twain.
man, I feel like a woman. You know what I mean?
I feel like a carburetor. Let's go.
There, we just made the whole movie better. It's
So
fine.
she feels like part of a car instead of an actual car, which are the audience of the music.
What?
It's like me saying, "Ooh, I feel like a shoe."
Okay, what?
That's exactly what you guys basically said.
Fine. Ooh, I feel like a Chevy.
There you go, better.
Impala. Is that better for you?
Way better.
Oh, we just made this movie
Pretty
so much
good.
better. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to hear your opinion on Luis's dun 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 dun. dun.
Dun 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 dun
Thank you.
dun 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 battle.
Good chow.
Good
Good chicka. Good chicka. Okay.
All right, ladies and gents. I really hope I slay you guys with this one.
Slay me. Whoa.
Yeah, like put
Slay.
you on a sled and send you off to the North Pole just so you can laugh so hard with nobody to bother you.
I'll
Oh.
guess,
Okay.
I'll get
So-
some snow tires from Luigi.
There you go. This week, based off of this movie and in the Cars world, what do cars need to have to be safe?
What?
Life insurance
Oh.
or car insurance?
Wait, what?
In
Slade.
order to be safe and to have coverage for unexpected catastrophes in life, what do they need to have? Life insurance or car insurance? Ready? Go!
Well, let's see. Well, what would they be covered under with if they had life insurance? If these cars,
Michelle obviously doesn't think this is as funny as it actually is.
they could
This
be
is
taken
hilarious.
into the shop.
It's just the doctors.
Yeah, that's the doctor.
So what does Doc get paid? Life insurance or car insurance?
Oh,
like who
whoa.
what company is paying him?
Right, what covers Doc's office?
I'm just thinking.
If they had car insurance,
If
The
they
rates
had
would go up all the
listen,
time.
if they had car insurance, then they would technically own a car, not themselves. So you're telling me a car's going to own another car? And then they
Slavery.
need car insurance for their car?
No, but they are cars, so they can get car insurance.
If you own a car. They
They
don't
are
own a car.
cars, and
That
they
doesn't
own
matter. They
themselves.
didn't buy themselves. They don't have registration papers under their name.
It's called a
You
birth
don't know.
certificate.
That's different.
Why is it different? This is the car world, so why couldn't
What do you think
there-
they had to go ask Chevy to sign their birth certificate?
Where do you
Thanks for
think they
making
came
me on the
from?
assembly line.
They came from the assembly
Yeah,
line
their
from Motor
parents.
City.
The
That's their
assembly line.
parents.
In my mind, if they have car insurance, it's because they own another car, and that sounds like slavery to me.
I'm gonna go with
I'm
Michelle.
going-
I think that's a great.
I'm going
that's a great.
Life insurance.
I need life insurance. They do have lives.
Can I tell you where this came from?
Where?
Louis, are you gonna? Can I tell him? Okay, thank you. So literally, you guys, I don't think our listener, some of our listeners know Luis personally. Some of you guys do not. You guys have formed an opinion, hopefully, of Luis. But I'm just gonna tell you right
A
now.
good one?
There's an opinion.
Nobody in Luis' life that doesn't listen to the podcast knows that he's on this podcast. Does that make sense? Like nobody else knows.
Yeah.
Like Luis is on a Disney podcast.
Right.
And the other day he told his adult nephew, and Christian literally was like, "No, really." And Luis was like, "No, really, man. I'm on a Disney podcast.
There are-
we gotta record later." He's like, "No, like what?" And Luis
And
like,
he's like, no, seriously.
no, seriously. And then he's like, "So you guys talk about like Disney movies?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "So like, have you guys talked about Cars?" And he's like, "No, not yet." And he's like, "Well, I just want to know, do they get life insurance and car insurance?" And I was like, "Christian, you want to come on the show?"
Shout
No,
out to
he was,
Christian
he
for
was
the
so
battle.
supportive of
That's
your hobby,
amazing.
Louise. So supportive.
He had no idea that
Giving
there
you
were
ideas and stuff.
more than 30 hours of Louise talking about Disney movies.
Is there? Oh, yeah, there is more than 30 hours.
Well, there's 30 hours of us talking about Disney movies.
Louise
Louise-
is on about 5 minutes
And
now.
5 times 30.
a good,
An hour.
55 minutes of Louise talking about Disney movies.
That's substantial.
That's pretty good.
But listen, what did you say your nephew's name was?
Christian Garcia.
Christian.
So thank you, Christian.
It's life insurance. Because slavery is wrong. That's why.
I,
That
So
was
what
a
do they
good
have
one.
for their tractors?
So hold on.
Their
Em.
Oh.
tractors are cows, like pets.
so you get car insurance for the
You get tractor
Cows.
insurance.
tractor insurance.
That's a different kind of vehicle. Like think about car insurances for like everyday normal vehicle cars. But Lightning McQueen's probably got different kind of car insurance because he's a racer. He got some high class life insurance because his life is in jeopardy a
He
lot.
has a low deductible.
Yeah, he
Low
does.
deductible.
And Mac he's a different kind of truck. So you got different kind of life insurance. It just depends on what kind of vehicle you are.
All terrain.
You're all terrain. You're going to be out there, scratching your pain, getting a lot of smush bugs on you. Your insurance is going to be different.
Bugs. All of the bugs were
the bugs
bugs.
are bugs.
They were
bugs are
VW bugs.
cars.
That made me very happy.
Yeah, I like that. Good detail. It was good Disney, Pixar, let's make these inanimate objects people
Yes.
kind of stuff.
It was very good. And you know what?
Okay, hold up, guys. Hold up.
What
Let's
are
wrap
you
it
doing?
back. Let's wrap it back.
I was disagreeing.
Hey,
Oh.
hey. Let's bring it back. Okay, so Michelle, you say
We all said life insurance.
You said life
Yeah.
insurance.
Yeah,
You said life insurance.
I'll
200?
say life insurance. Yeah, just because I can't disagree with slavery is wrong.
Wakanda forever.
Damn, man, I'm not gonna be the one who says car insurance. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
with life
try me.
insurance. Whatever.
No,
Man, no.
No, it's okay. Don't do it.
No. They're cars.
They're cars, so in
So they
their
can
world,
get
it's car insurance.
Because they don't have
No.
lives.
'Cause
They have
like,
cars.
They are cars.
Yeah,
I feel you. That's a good
Insurance for
question, though.
themselves.
Nobody's driving then.
You
they're
don't know
driving
that.
themselves.
Yeah,
What
because
if
they're
there's just-
beings, so they need life
What if there's a
insurance.
big old brain sitting in the?
Yeah.
in
You
the
know
front-
what? That's what
front
was
seat?
freaking me out. I was thinking about it. So, like, if you think about a car, there's nothing quote unquote on the inside because that's the space where we sit. And so you never see their windows go down.
Right.
So, like, what's on the inside? Just a big old brain? All of their bodily
No,
like
organs?
it's
guts
their
and stuff?
transmission, dude. And I'm pretty sure when their engine dies, they die.
Oh,
So there's a brain in there,
I'm
though.
pretty sure they got, the brain driving. They got the heart in the passenger seat,
No.
lungs,
Yeah.
and, the
I don't
intestines
picture
in the
that at
back
all.
seat,
When they lose a tire,
But-
it's like losing a kidney.
butt in the
No.
trunk.
Why do you think they say back up the truck?
No.
Back it on up like a U-Haul truck. What else were we about to talk about?
The flies being cars.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was saying.
Bugs.
I was
Disney
saying,
details.
Yes, I was saying that this has good Disney. You don't think so?
No, I didn't like that the flies were cars
Why not?
because
What'd you want them to be?
not all cars are created equal. Apparently,
What?
What?
It just was weird to me that a bug was a car.
And
because there's all these cars everywhere else, and you don't see any other animals. So are you telling me if you saw a bunny, is the bunny car?
Yeah.
Yes, on this planet, all of the beings are cars. Just like
So
on
not
this.
all cars are created equal?
No.
Well,
Not
Why do
all
those
not all
cars have
flies are
wings?
created equal here either.
right.
Hmm.
Like we're all Earthlings.
I get it.
Some of us are people. Some of
I'm
us
just
are
saying it's
bugs.
weird.
Some of us are cows.
Yeah, but we are different species.
And
Those
on
are
But
Cars
tractors
World,
were the cows.
they got car people, and they got cow cars, and they got.
yeah, we're not having
Bug-
this conversation.
bug
I
bugs.
just think it's weird.
All right.
I really enjoyed how they made all the cars be people.
Yeah, the cars is people. That's cool, but the bugs as cars is weird.
All right.
All right, I like it.
It's fine.
Michelle, are you okay? You're getting all emotional over here.
No, fine.
Her eyes are watering, you guys. She's
What?
not
The
cool. She's not okay with the bug treatment in this movie.
It's fine.
Bugs can be cars. Not all cars are created bugs. What else did I like? I liked how this movie looked. I think out of all of the early Pixar movies, I think this is like one of the best looking ones. Like,
yeah, the animation was really
yeah,
good.
the animation
liked-
was on point.
The background.
Like the outside of Radiator Springs.
Like the scenery.
Yeah.
Emily
Beautiful.
pointed out to me that the mountains were the front of cars, and I was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see in the sky the tire tracks?
Yes,
Yep.
instead of like airplane
Trails.
Which is super, super cool. The attention to detail in the scenery besides the fly bugs was great.
Well, and like we talked about this when you couldn't really tell when you were in town, but when you went up, when they went up to the wheel well, like where the old hotel used to be, and you look down at Radiator Springs, the top of Radiator Springs where the RS is like a gas cap.
Yeah.
So it was really cool that they were able to even make the scenery into cars as well. So
Car-esque.
cars are everywhere.
Even like the back mountain ranges that are kind of like spiked up. They look like the backs
Like
of,
Cadillacs
yeah,
and stuff.
Cadillacs and Oldsmobiles and stuff.
I really, really like that. And then I also just love how Radiator Springs looks in general. Like, it's very well thought out. It almost looks like a little old ghost town.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And Emily, so it's so funny because she just made this comment the other day. But if you're driving to Southern California, but for some reason the Grapevine is closed, you have to go around, almost like you're going to drive to Vegas. And there's Barstow, and there's all these little towns that look like Radiator Springs.
Yeah, we just drove through Beryl Springs a couple days ago because there was just traffic and Siri routed us. And we ended up going on the Pear Blossom Highway. We kept calling it Peter Blossom.
Pear Blossom?
We kept calling it Peter Blossom. That's why I'm messing it up. But we went down this highway for a couple hours, and I literally was like, dude, we're going to end up either in Radiator Springs or Die with the Hills Have Eyes because one or the other is happening today.
Yeah.
But it was really cool because a lot of everything was, the attention to detail was there, especially with what it looks like when you're going between all of the cities on Route 66. That was really cool.
Right.
Which is funny because even in one of the songs about Route 66, when Lightning McQueen is he's getting all decked out, like from the other cars, like he's finally a good guy. They put 3 bumper stickers on Lightning McQueen. I can't remember the first one, but the second one is Barstow, and then the third one is San Bernardino.
It was like King something.
Kingston?
in Arizona.
But I've driven through those towns multiple times, and
Yeah.
it's very like deserty vibes. I've never actually driven like Route 66. Like, I don't even know where it starts and where I know it ends up in California.
Chicago to Los Angeles.
Yep.
Chicago to Los Angeles.
Right.
Okay.
After John Lasseter's wife took him and their kids on like that road trip that inspired the movie or whatever, he took the production team of this movie on like 2 long road trips to go through little towns like these to model Radiator Springs after. So
Well,
they
it's very
went to
accurate.
like 6 different little towns or something like that. I don't have them in front of me, but they went to all the places, drew inspiration, and they got the guy who wrote the book on Route 66, and they got him to like be the tour guide, and then he ended up playing the sheriff in the movie.
Oh,
Michael Wallace.
Really?
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Very exciting for
The
Michael.
protector of Route 66.
Yeah.
The keeper of Route 66.
The king
So
of Route
that
66.
whole aspect of the movie I really love. Like, they really paid great attention to detail with the scenery, the town, this little small town vibe, and, you know, just there are a lot of deserted towns, like, out in the country like that just have fallen off the map. So I thought that was very accurate. I liked that part of it a lot. And then also we didn't even, like, finish talking about Lightning McQueen. We've been bashing him, like, the whole time. But he has a very, very good character development. Like, I appreciate that. He's probably one of the characters that I'm, like, fully hate at the beginning. And at the end, like, his interaction with Doc, the very fatherly, like, Doc is going to be his crew chief and everything. That's, like, I never go from, like, hating someone so much to being like, oh, okay, he's fine.
Yeah. He does very well.
Usually when I hate a character in a movie, I just hate them.
Stay hating.
Same here. You guys know that for a fact. Okay,
Olaf.
I agree
You
with you
stay
100%, Michelle. I really, really liked his character development at first. I didn't like him at first, but to be honest, my hate was more geared towards Chicken Chips or whatever his name was.
Chicken chips?
Chickens?
Chick Hicks.
Chick Hicks, that guy.
I'm done.
But
Chicken
anyways.
chips.
Chicken chips.
Good chicken. Good chicken.
I really liked
Good
how
chicken chips.
I liked how he
Chicken
developed
chips.
into a very humble and down to earth
Yes.
car, and since that moment, he's been like probably the coolest and nicest character in that whole Cars world.
And it's hard for me to tell who knocked sense into him. Was it Sally or was it Doc?
I think it was like the whole town.
Both?
Yeah, no, the whole town
Yeah.
did, because each of them, like, either helped him or helped him physically or helped him realize his mistakes.
Right. Just help them learn lessons in
He
general.
just needed a friend, guys. You got a friend in me. Then he was fine.
Yeah.
Truth.
He was like, oh, I can't make this turn. I guess I don't know everything.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
all
I've
it
never
took.
Embarrassing.
tipped a
I
cow.
gotta turn right to go left. What?
Never tipped a tractor before. I guess I don't know everything.
Emily,
Yeah.
is there lots of Easter eggs?
There's actually quite a few. Can you germ off my notes? Thank you.
Whoa.
All right.
Germ off.
Here.
All right. One of the most blaring Easter eggs that we see in this movie is Dynaco. And
Dynaco.
we've talked about Dynaco multiple times, but Dynaco was the original gas station referenced in the Toy Story movie that we already talked about. And here, Dynaco is the main sponsor of the King Racer. And Dynaco is the sponsor that everyone is racing for because they know the King's going to retire and they want to be Dynaco's
Top Dynaco spot.
Yeah, they want to be the Dynaco racer. So we see Dynaco everywhere and their mother in this movie, which is really cool. We also see the Pizza Planet truck in this movie,
Yeah.
which is really cool. He is disguised as a car, but it is the full truck, and it's he's shown when everyone's on the search trying to find Kachiga. What is his name?
Kuchika.
Oh, no, they're trying to find Lightning McQueen.
Oh.
And they're doing all of the press information, and you actually see the Pizza Planet truck hanging out on the side, which is really cool.
It's at the race at the end, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the rematch race.
So apparently, and I didn't know this, but through multiple Disney movies have had kids wearing shirts with the number 95 on them, but Toy Story 3 specifically, one of the kids in the daycare that the toys end up at was wearing a 95 Lightning McQueen shirt, but apparently 95 was supposed to indicate the year that the first Toy Story movie came out. So
Yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So his number is based off of Toy Story.
Originally, that number on Lightning McQueen was going to be 57, which is John Lasseter's birth year.
Oh,
Then they switched it up.
Interesting.
cool. I like it better that it's
Like-
about a
I feel
movie
like
versus-
Stop
95.
making everything
well,
about
and
you,
I also
John.
feel like 95 is aesthetically pleasing. Like when you
Yeah.
look at it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When I think of 57, I think of ketchup. Is
Yeah,
that
I
the
do.
number on ketchup?
Yeah, Heinz
57. Yes.
Nailed it.
I know that because I've been called Heinz 57 my whole life.
Ketchup.
Are
You
you
didn't know that,
57
Louis?
years old?
Yeah, mush pot.
Wait, I don't understand that reference.
White people know it. Go explain it, Michelle.
Why
Well, white
Heinz
people got a little
57?
bit of everything in them.
Mm-hmm.
And Heinz 57 has a little bit of everything.
It's got like 57 flavors or whatever.
That's kind of not cool.
That's definitely a white people saying.
Yeah, because like a lot of people will be like, or like when people ask like,
What are you?
"What are you?" and you want to say like white, but
Do I really need to see Dutch, Irish, English, German, Native American, Indian?
yeah, because
How to
that's
say I'm a Heinz 57.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just you're all kinds of white.
Probably more than that I don't even know.
That's why I need to do that him in 23 thing. I want to find
Oh,
out all of the
yeah.
things that I
23
am.
and me.
Yeah, it's 23 and me. Thank you. Anywho, that was totally. Anywho,
Tangent.
Tangents. So, also, this one's really interesting, and I had to go back and find it because I wanted to make sure it was true. It's there. One of the times that Lightning McQueen pulls into the pit stop on the speedway, he actually it's in the beginning, the Motor Speed of the South. You see Wally driving across in the background.
Oh, what?
Mhm.
That's
Very fast, very small, but it's there. Similarly, you see a flash of the birds from the For the Birds Pixar short.
Yes, I noticed that when we were
Was that
watching.
before this movie or no? I don't think.
I don't know
I don't
when that
remember
came
where
out.
that
I don't
short
remember
came
what
out.
movie that came out with, but you see all of the little birds hanging out on the wire when they're on their way to California. Similarly, this one is very blatant at one point, but at first you see Radiator Springs like their movie theater marquee showing, and it says that they're showing the Incredimobiles instead of the Incredibles.
Which I love, because if you've ever been to Cars Land, there's
Vroom,
one
vroom, vroom,
specific
vroom, vroom.
wall, and there's always mock movie posters with Mater in the cars. And they change them out every now and then, because sometimes they're just like regular Pixar movies to different themes, which I think they probably are right now. But at Halloween, they're like scary movies.
Yes.
Remember the Hocus Pocus
Yes.
one
Oh,
I
yeah,
sent
that's
you?
right.
That's my favorite like little thing in Cars Land.
Yes, that's
It's
really
funny that
cool.
they do it in this movie.
Similarly, the A113 is in two different places in this movie. The first one is on the train that almost hits Lightning McQueen, that they also reenact in the ride. So the
Oh,
A113 is hanging out on the right hand side. It looks like a sticker for like a headlight type of thing. And then Tomater's license plate is also A113. But I found a really cool fun fact, I thought. So every year, each ride vehicle, so each one of the cars that is on the Radiator Springs Racers ride travels approximately 36,000 miles, just because it's constantly going back and forth.
Okay.
And apparently that's more than 14 trips down the original Route 66.
Oh.
Wow.
So that's how much it moves, which I mean,
Jeez.
we know when you go on it, it's
you're
going quite a
moving.
bit. But I thought that was pretty cool that each one of them goes over 14 times
14
down the
trips.
That's
road
cool.
six-
The ones on the ride, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So I thought it was a
Means
pretty
lot
cool
of
fun
people-
fact.
They getting
Right,
some
yeah.
mileage,
They're-
man.
Those cars are moving. Moving and
Groovy.
grooving.
That's very cool.
Did I have any other stuff that I wanted
Money.
to talk about? Yeah, we can talk about money.
Money.
This movie did pretty well at the box office. Actually, I was looking earlier at at all three Cars movies, and Cars 1 made the most, Cars 2 second, and Cars 3 made the least amount of
What?
money.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was very surprised by that.
You
I
know,
thought
maybe
Cars
just
3
because
would've
people
been-
didn't want to see it after they were disappointed in Cars 2.
I guess, but still, you'd think just by virtue of it being a new Pixar movie a couple years ago that they would have went to go see it.
Interesting.
But yeah, Cars itself had a budget of where'd that money go? $120 million, and it ended up with a cumulative worldwide gross of $472 million.
Jeez.
So they did pretty good. Pretty good.
That is a lot of money.
Yeah, and it was generally well received when it came out. Reviewers liked it. People liked it. It has a 74% on Rotten Tomatoes. Certified fresh. The audience score
Really,
is
74.
The audience score is 79%.
So slightly higher.
Yeah.
I just feel like it has a big following, but it's weird because, like I said, this isn't necessarily a movie that I'm like, I really want to watch this Pixar movie. It's low at the bottom of my list.
Yeah, bottom.
But if I'm at Disneyland, I always want to go to Cars Land.
Well, and we talked.
Like,
we missed one of my favorite parts in the whole movie. Every time this particular part comes on, I get all excited when they turn on the neon in the town.
Radiator
Yeah,
Springs,
so
yeah.
And I
good.
think it's because I love being in Cars Land at night in
Yeah.
Disneyland. When you're there, I think it probably comes from a little bit different place for me. I like to take pictures of Disneyland, and not so much of people in Disneyland, but just like the attention to detail, the way things look, the way that they constructed everything. And there's nothing cooler than taking a good neon picture in
Yeah.
Cars Land because it's just done so well and everything is so vibrant. And I think it's so masterful how they scaled
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cars Land
Gosh, they
versus
did-
the movie.
They did brilliant.
But that scene the way that they did the neon, it literally looks like you're looking at a real neon sign. They did such a good job with the animation. It's
Lights
very
up.
nice.
My two, I have two favorite scenes. That's definitely one of them. But the scene where Lightning McQueen and Sally just take a drive, like through the country, that's just so nostalgic and beautiful. But the other one of my favorite scenes, and we didn't really talk about how Doc taught Lightning McQueen kind of how to race on a dirt road, but when you just catch him by himself, like with his racing tires on, that whole scene is beautiful. And when he drifts and they like zoom in on it and you can see all the rubble,
that
like,
is
perfectly.
the best shot in the movie.
It's
when
real
he's
good.
slow motion drifting across. It's so cool.
Yeah.
So there are like scenes that I like. It's just I'm not like, oh my gosh, cars.
Well, it's funny too because when we were watching this last night, I don't know if it's because we're tired right now or what, but we were laughing quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was because we were laughing
we're not like quoting off all the funny things
Right.
now, but there's plenty.
But we were actually laughing quite a bit, probably more than any of the other movies we were watching. But I think that even though the funny moments were there, at least for me, it's like Andre said a little bit earlier, it's just not hitting my personal fancy, even though the movie is decent.
Right.
It's good.
Well, and I mean, not everybody likes The Little Mermaid, but I do because I love mermaids. So it's one of those things where it's like it has to hit home with you to be like very, very high up there. But it is, gosh, what did we say with the highest grossing merch Pixar movie?
Yeah,
Like
$8 billion.
they making money off it, and kids love it.
Making money.
So you ready to
rain on them cars.
give a votey vote?
Yes. Let's vote. Ratings.
Rating.
Ratings.
The ratings.
I am going
go.
to give this movie a...
I'm like interested about your rating.
I'm going to give it a personal 6.5. It's
Okay.
It's a decent movie, but I never find myself wanting to watch it. You know? Like, I'm just not ever going to be in the mood to be like, hey, everybody, let's get all sit down together and watch Cars.
Let's get all sit down
Let's
together.
get all together and sit down.
Let's get all sit down.
Let's get all sit down. Yeah, as I said, the animation is beautiful. It looks really good. The vocal performances are good, and it has a lot of funny moments, but it just doesn't do anything for me personally. Like, even like the overall moral of the story, which I enjoy a lot in other Pixar movies, is just like, yeah, don't be a meanie face.
Don't be a meanie.
Don't be a meanie face.
I'll do mine next. 7.
7.
It's too long.
Too long.
Too long.
Okay.
Too long.
Load.
I will give it a 7.5.
7.5.
I agree with you, Andre. It's not just one of those that you're like, hey, we're bored. Let's
Right.
go and sit down and watch Cars.
I don't want to watch another movie that's going to make me bored.
Yeah, I've got like 17 other
I'm
Pixar movies to choose from.
Going to also give it a 7.5. It's a solid movie. It's good. It has its great moments. But it's just not high up on my Pixar list. I don't connect with Cars as much as I do other movies. But I will say, shout out to the late and great...
Paul Newman?
Is he the one who plays
Doc?
P.T. Flea and all of those characters?
Is that guy not alive with us?
Was
He's
it
definitely
It
alive.
was the Doc character that died?
It was-
Oh, I thought
Doc
it
was
was.
played by Paul Newman. This was his final movie.
Yes.
And
I thought it was that guy.
No.
But,
which is hilarious. We didn't even talk about that
but
part.
well, that's where I'm going with
John
this.
Ratzenberger. Is who we're
John,
talking
this
about.
is my favorite John Ratzenberg.
John
part.
Ratzenberger.
Thing. John Ratzenberger. Well,
Still
I
with
just want
us.
to say burger. I was making sure I was right. This is Mac is my favorite John Ratzenberger Pixar character.
Oh, okay.
But in the shorts at the end, when they're going through all the different...
It's like,
That's great.
hey, that guy's great. Wow. And then he's just like, I think they're just reusing the same
Wait a minute,
guy
they're
here.
just reusing the same actors.
so they use like Ham and P.T. Flea and...
Is there another one, or is he
He's
just...
the abominable
truck-
snowman.
The abominable snowman.
He's in every movie.
It's so funny though because you're right, he does the best job as Mac, and I think
love
that he
him
has a
as
lot
Mac.
more lines in this movie as well.
Yeah, he has a lot, and honestly, his character is funny. Like
Yeah.
he's making faces in the truck in front of him, like off the reflection, and his
Quite
hat.
pretty.
And I love seeing him in Paint the Night. My
And
goodness,
that is
amazing.
the best float in Paint the
Yeah.
Night is
Yeah,
the Mac
big
truck.
old
The Mac
truck.
truck is the best. So next week
I believe, is our voting week.
it is.
So you all get
And
to
we-
vote on
okay,
some
so-
Pixar movies that we have not yet
We're
discussed.
getting real.
Is there any?
We're getting real slim on our Pixar pickings, so we're gonna have to retire Pixar for a while. Therefore, you guys are going to be voting on Pixar sequels.
And it's really interesting the way we did this because when we were looking through the rest of the Pixar movies, we thought, well, everyone's like, please watch Coco. And I get it. I love
soon.
Coco. I think Coco's fantastic. But we need to watch Coco separately, not in a voting, because we all know you're going to choose it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But so,
and same with like Inside Out, Up, Wall-E. Like they're gonna get voted for. You know what I mean?
right. So what we decided to do was pick sequels to the movies that we've already watched, even if it wasn't this month. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these options for you. The first one is Monsters University. And we watched Monsters Inc. earlier this month. Toy Story 2, which was
We did
our
Toy Story a while ago.
right, which was our first Pixar that we did, and then the last option is going to be Cars 2. And I know that we just bashed on it, but that doesn't mean we can't watch it because there were funny parts in that movie too.
I've never seen it. Pick it for me.
And actually, there were really good Easter eggs in that movie, better than this one. But that's just our options. What,
Hold on,
Lynn?
guys. I know we watched Toy Story 2. Did we watch it for fun?
We watched,
watched
it for fun.
Ah, okay,
I
okay,
watched
cool.
Andre and I also watched Wall-E like super
Okay.
recently, and for some reason I thought we had done it on the podcast
Yeah.
because now I can't watch a Disney movie without thinking like we talked about it.
Oh, I
Right.
know. That's what happened to Luis the other day. He's like, "Didn't we just watch The Incredibles for this for the podcast?"
podcast?
I'm like, no, we watched it on our own. So we're not allowed to watch Disney movies anymore
Yeah,
because
so
it's
we have
confusing.
Wait, say them again.
Monsters University, Toy Story 2, Cars 2, go.
Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun.
So head on over to
Pixar
the Instagram,
sequels.
Winstagram.
the Winstagram, to vote on our Pixar movie of the month. Check it out. Oh, our Instagram is at the Walt Vault Pod. Go there to vote and to interact with us. You can send us DMs. You can also interact with us on Twitter and or Facebook. We are at the Walt Vault Pod on there as well. But Instagram is where it's really happening. You guys know what's up. You know about all the social medias. We're also you can also email us at contact@thewaltvaultpod.com. That would be great. I haven't gotten an email in a while, and I miss them. I miss you guys. Please talk to me. If you want to support the Walt Vault,
I think it sounds like you don't have any friends, Andre. You do have friends. Don't let the listeners think you don't.
I
have
got friends.
You ain't Lightning McQueen. You got friends.
Yeah.
You got a friend in
The
Michelle.
problem is that they're all in this room and not sending me emails.
Oh, can't help you with that one.
So that's why I need you guys' help.
You wanted me to pay attention. Now you want me to send an email? Fine.
That's why I need
You
more
got
friends.
a friend
Contact at
in
thewaltvaultpod.com. Send me an email or, slide into our DMs.
When the
Drift into our
road gets
DMs
Drift.
and give us a
Rough
message.
ahead.
Ask us a question. Anything you want to do.
Don't throw us rubble.
No rubble. If you want to support the Walt Vault, there's a couple ways you can do that. First of all, you can just simply hit subscribe on whatever app you're using to listen to us on. We're on Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, and iTunes. If you hit subscribe, that helps get us seen out in the world by more people. You can also leave us a review or a rating. 5 stars is my favorite number of stars. If you also want to help us more monetarily, you can go to thewaltvaultpod.com/Amazon, click the button, then you'll shop on Amazon like normal, and we'll get a small percentage of whatever you purchase there at no additional cost to you. It's a win-win.
I wish we
lose
got
for Amazon.
10% like Harv.
Yeah, Harv is making money. Harv is voiced by Jeremy Piven, who is like the main dude on Entourage.
He's like, I know that you're getting, you're doing this all on your own, but remember, I'm still in contract.
Exactly.
That guy is the perfect agent
right.
actor.
Yeah.
Secret Asian man.
Different agent.
Yeah, different.
Oh.
Different kind of agent.
A non-secret agent. And the last way that you can help support us is to go to Patreon. We are go to patreon.com/thewaltvault. Sign up for as little as $1 or more, and you'll get access to our after show, A Crack in the Vault, where we discuss some of the more adult themes in these Disney movies and, just other stuff. More stuff about cars. Check us out. Go to all those places. Hit us up. Send me emails. Guys, that's been it for this week. We'll see you next time.